Hey everybody, it's me, James Yan. We got a great show for you. The first thing we're going to talk about is a teacher who did something very dangerous and uncalled for, got arrested, now has a $40,000 bond. Tickled a child. Then we're going to discuss the dangers of offering teachers pay for performance. Are you really helping people? Then we're going to wrap things up with a story I saw on Reddit where we're talking about my mom always did it better than me when it comes to parenting. Stick around, a brand new episode of Crying in My Car starts right now.
Hey everybody, this is a brand new edition of Crying in My Car, a podcast for teachers. I'm Devin Siebold and got my good buddy, Mr. James Yan. And we are parent versus teacher. We're here to hopefully bring some laughs, bring some levity, and get you through that work day. Now, don't forget to support us by hitting 5-star rating, maybe sharing. Those things are free. Also, if you're like, you know what, these guys deserve my cold hard cash, go over to patreon.com/crying in my car, and it's just a small little monthly contribution to help keep this podcast alive, and you get a whole lot of stuff. You get shout outs on the show. You also get a little bit of bonus material.
You do.
And you'll also get a welcome video from us directly to you. Just for you. I mean, you could go on Cameo and spend $400 to have Sebastian Bach shout out your happy birthday greeting. Or you just do $5 to help out the Crying in My Car crew.
I love you went to Sebastian Bach like that.
When I think of Cameo, I just think of like, I don't know, dried up old singers and stuff. I'm on Cameo.
Pauly Shore wished me happy birthday.
Yeah.
There you go.
I'm on Cameo, just so you're aware.
Yes.
I am on Cameo.
Yes.
I also just do videos for people.
Uh-huh.
Like, people message me all the time.
Just
and
do a video?
Like, yeah, they're like, my wife loves watching your videos, and it's her 40th birthday.
Oh, okay.
Can you give her a shout out? And I'm like, yeah. And like, we had somebody come up to me at the show the other day, and they were like, hey, they were like, I was like, hi. And you can tell immediately that there's some kind of connection that they know you from or something. And the guy goes, oh, while you were in Hawaii, you did a big shout out for my wife's birthday.
Okay.
And you sent the video over. He goes, I didn't think you'd respond. And I'm like, no, of course.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel very grateful to be in this position. So when people message me and they're like, can you shout out my staff? Can you shout out this?
I got you.
I got you.
Yeah.
You know, if you do the Cameo route, the Cameo money comes in. Just so you know, 100% of the Cameo money goes to the Innocence Project. I have donated to the Innocence Project ever since its founding, and I fully believe in their mission. And trust me, all the money, I don't collect a single penny from Cameo. All the money goes. I donate. I try to donate a lot of things and help out. I'm also going to be at the St. Jude Creator Conference again. So, and you know what else is wild about this St. Jude thing that I'm doing? The Creator Conference, I'm a little excited.
Okay.
Because I've done these in the past where there's like a few people. I already knew Kalen Allen. He was at the last one.
Okay.
I knew him. We'd worked together already through Pep Talk, which was an old teacher thing. I see some like gaming creators that I go, oh, I know you. You know, some YouTube creators, I know you. This one, Jack Hartman's going to be there. And you don't know who Jack Hartman is.
I don't. I'm like, who's Jack Hartman?
But every single elementary teacher that's listening to this right now is going, Jack Hartman? The Jack Hartman?
What?
He's the Weird Al Yankovic of teachers in terms of educational songs on YouTube.
Oh, that's his thing.
Yeah. Educational songs on YouTube. The kids love him.
Okay.
So like teachers that are teaching, say, I don't know, let's just say they're teaching photosynthesis that day.
Yes.
Teachers can look up Jack Hartman photosynthesis, and he's probably got a really funny, cute parody song on photosynthesis and teaching it, and teachers love to just put it on and the kids lose their mind. They
retain information because it's done through song.
Yeah. Now you know who Miss Rachel is, right?
Yes, I do.
Yeah, so it's basically the male singing version of Miss Rachel.
Oh,
like
okay.
The popularity in terms of but teachers love Jack Hartman. Like he's up there. So I'm going to be in the same room with Jack Hartman. Be envious.
Awesome.
Yes.
You just reminded me of something.
What?
I remember back in the day, do you remember this educational program that would come on at night on HBO called Encyclopedia? Look this up.
You're tickling something back there. You're tickling something back there.
They had they would always do, had a band. It was 3 women, and they would always sing every episode. And I remember the show would start with a letter of the alphabet, and each episode would go to a different letter. And when they got to E, they sang a song, and it was about echoes. And it said, "Hello, echo, echo, hey, hello."
I don't remember that.
It's a show called Encyclopedia. I just thought of it. An educational program, man. I miss those, man.
See, James, you remembered.
Yes.
That's the thing, man.
I retained it.
It worked.
It worked,
and that's
man.
why Jack Hartman works, because the songs were able to retain the songs. It's so wild, man, because, like, I know every single word to Thug Love by Thugs and Harmony and Tupac. But it must be closer to Armageddon, Lord. You know that I won't buy that way. Anyways, sorry.
Boom, 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 boom.
I can keep going.
Yes.
And it's so wild that I've memorized like 17 pages of Bone Thugs lyrics. It's songs do something to us, man. They
And on a tangent, this is just me doing my little parent soapbox. That's why we got to keep arts in the schools. Honestly,
100%.
Yes, got to keep arts in the schools. Man.
I mean, there's so much studies behind that, but even with dementia patients and Alzheimer's, they're finding that these people who are laying in bed and have no recollection of anybody in the room, they will play a song and they will know that song, but also it will trigger memories for that song, and they go, "Oh, that's the song I was listening to when I married Diane. Diane's here," and it's like, oh, it just has that place. And I know there's a lot of studies on this, but I'm sure there's hopefully going to be more. Mm-hmm. But yeah, music, man.
But music does transport you. Like, we have favorite bands that when I was going to school, like in the 90s, if I hear that song, I immediately remember what I was doing. Like when I first heard it, it takes me back to that time. So I definitely think music is one of those things that we just can't let go by the wayside.
And it's healing, too.
Yes, man.
I think that
it's emotional. You connect.
Yeah. I used to listen to music all the time to get through rough patches. And, some things were just so deeply ingrained. Pearl Jam helped me through some deep times.
And I know you have a real love for Pearl Jam.
I love Pearl Jam. But I remember one time distinctly where my friend, and he'll tell you this, my buddy Lee, we were best friends all through high school and college. I talk to him still on the text message. But we were sitting on this on the stairs in front of the gym, and he was down, and I had just gotten out of my car, and I sat down, and he was like, "Man," and I go, "Is everything all right, man?" He goes, "Oh, my girlfriend cheated on me," and I go, "That's terrible, man. Hey, I just bought you the new System of a Down album," and he was like, "They got a new one?" I said, "Yeah, it just came out today." He's like, "Oh." And then we went to my car and we listened to it. Yeah. And anytime we hear any of those songs, he's like, "I remember when I was feeling really down and you got me that album." He goes, "Those songs got me through it."
Yes.
And it's just that music. It takes
healing.
you back to a time in your life. Can I also say there's one song? Sometimes you don't want to go back there. You ever have those songs?
It reminds you of something that really didn't go right. Yeah.
The song "Take My Breath Away" by Berlin.
Really?
Yeah. It bothers me. And the reason it bothers me is because I was a kid, and I remember I was a kid, and I was at this not this daycare. I had this babysitter that I despised.
Really?
And I remember we would be forced into the back of her car, and anytime we went places, I wasn't really happy about it. She lost me at Siebold twice.
Wait a minute.
Yeah, one time she let go of my hand when we were in the rapids, and I just went down the rapids. They caught me at a bridge a mile down the road.
Good Lord, bro.
I have some interesting stories about that babysitter, but when we got into the car, Berlin's "Take My Breath Away" at that time had just came out. It was early 80s late 80s, early 90s.
I remember, yeah.
And it would always play. And for some reason, when I hear that song, I'm transported instantly to the back of that station wagon facing the other way and crammed in there with children and just hating my life. And it would doom, 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 doom. And I'm just like,
brother, I can see why you hate that song. You got traumatized. She lets you go in the rapids and try to take your breath away.
That's not the half.
Literally.
Dude, I wanted to see Benji so bad.
The dog, the movie,
She didn't want to see Benji.
Of course not.
So she took me in and sat me down for Benji. I'm like 6. And then she leaves to go watch her movie. Well, I caught the credits of Benji, and then the people came in, and they cleaned the whole theater, and they swept all the popcorn, and then the previews hit, and then Benji starts, and then she comes in, and her movie's done, and it's time to leave.
Bro, who is this woman that we should report?
I had just got a My Buddy doll, and she took me to see Child's Play, and I forced my mom to put the My Buddy doll in the trunk of our car, because I was like, it's going to kill the whole family.
Yeah, it is.
And
pretty much.
we've got to get rid of this thing. And
Oh, my gosh.
She was a trip, man.
Wait, was your babysitter by chance a camp counselor at Lake Crystal?
Crystal Lake. Yeah.
Crystal Lake.
Yeah. Dude, she was wild.
Jesus, man.
She also had a favorite food that we would eat. And I will never eat it.
Oh, what
ever
was
again.
it? Oh.
Liver and onions.
Your babysitter, like, who was... Wait,
liver and onions, bro.
How old was this girl?
I'm gonna make a movie about her one day.
You should.
She was in her 60s, I think 70s.
Yeah,
maybe.
that's not a... I'm thinking you're talking about a teenager.
No.
As soon as you said liver and onions, I'm like, Devin.
Yep.
Was her name Miss Daisy?
Her name was Joyce.
Joyce.
And
That sounds like one
there
of those
was no
names.
joy.
There was no
in
joy
Joyce.
in that Joyce. Yeah. Good Lord.
Oh, man. But anyways, so Jack Harbin, happy to see you. Hopefully we'll create some new songs and memories that will get rid of the Berlin.
The pain. The trauma.
The trauma of Take My Breath Away. All right, let's jump into the teachers and the news. This one, man, oh man. I clicked on it and I was like, there's more to this. The title of it was West Hartford private school teacher let go and fired for tickling a student. And I said, oh, something happened. So there's a little more to this. Nope. Charged with risk of injury for tickling a student, and they set the bail at $40,000. And I read it. I read it several times because I thought there's more to this. No, a parent said that the child said their teacher tickled them and made them laugh, and that was the end of it. And apparently they pressed charges and decided to go forward with firing the teacher.
Okay. Let me make sure I understand all the details of this. How old was the child?
It didn't say.
Didn't say.
But,
Okay.
I'm guessing it's a private school. I mean, obviously school age, so I think younger, but who knows?
I have worked at a private school. I told you that. A prominent one here in Orlando, and it's tricky. The parents have a lot of power.
Because they have the money.
Correct.
Yeah.
So this may be... They may have had another reason they were angry with this teacher.
It might have been.
It
You're
might have been
finding fault.
Yeah, it
but
might be.
Tickling. I mean, as a
Tickling-
teacher, I would never tickle my students. I can't say that I would ever. But then again, I think if you got like kindergartners
That's
or
what I'm thinking.
first graders,
Yeah.
and you're playing a game with them, you good job.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't think that it could be.
Your hands are weapons now?
Yeah, I don't know.
Like if he was on the run, he'd be armed and dangerous because he was tickling a little kid.
I'm baffled.
Tickling's crazy. The bond at $40,000 is even crazier.
It is.
Come on. Like,
It
what
is.
judge was like, oh, I see. This guy's actually a menace to society.
I don't
Lock this teacher up.
$40,000, and
And he's like, that's more than I make a year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't understand
That's
it.
crazy.
You have to protect yourself as a teacher, though. You can't just go, tickling students. I've seen teachers that do the hair and everything, and and I don't know. I'm not really.
I've seen that.
I think I've
seen
said
that.
this story
Yeah.
before, but it's true. My first, there was a fight at the school. And it was so funny because I remember everything about this. For some reason, I remember just how awkward this was. There was two girls fighting, and our dean went over and pushed one girl out of the way, and he was like, he goes, keep that girl away from her. And I was like, yeah, sure. And I went over, and I was like, hey, stop. And she kept coming at me, and I didn't want to grab her. I was like, stop. And I remember putting my hands like in an X, and I was like, and you know how funny this is how funny how awkward it was. I remember her looking like at the girl, and she was like, I'm gonna beat you, I'm gonna
yeah.
and then she like took one, like all of a sudden her eyes went to me, and she was like She's like, what the hell are you doing?
You're like, I don't know.
I was like, I don't know. I've never been in this
doing.
position before. I'm just trying to block you, but not touch you.
Because it's funny you bring that up because I just reposted the video we did when you were trying to explain to a new teacher how to break up fights.
Yeah.
My question is this: how do you, as a teacher, break up a fight?
I mean, technically, you're supposed to restrain somehow. But, I mean, honestly, you run into the complications of, and I've seen this lawsuit happen before, where you restrain one and you can't get to the other at the same time, and then the one you're restraining can't defend themselves as they're getting pounded on by the other. Yes. And then the parent goes, you should have let my kid fight back. You held them back. And
if I'm listening to a teacher getting in trouble for tickling a child, I'm probably not going to physically touch anyone trying to break up a fight. I'm thinking no matter what I do, I'm going to be wrong and I'm going to get in trouble.
Right.
So, all I can do is just tape this for World Star.
All right, next one. I want to get to this, and then we'll get to your closing here. Is Houston ISD, man. Oh, I love you so much.
We're always talking about Texas, aren't we?
Yeah, Houston ISD, because it's one of the few where the state took over the district, and so they're having the most. I won't say the most problems. I think they're under the biggest microscope. Okay. I think that the news is looking for something. Okay. And that's, I mean, I get that. That's probably the biggest challenge of running that district is they're waiting for you to mess up because you're the experiment.
Yeah, you are.
So,
you are.
Teachers in Houston ISD are looking at a new evaluation plan. They apparently unveiled this new evaluation plan that includes pay for performance. And yeah, I hate pay for performance. I'm okay with it if we implement it on Congress. If we implement pay for performance for politicians, sure.
There you go.
But they'll never do that. Anyways, 35%. This is the problem. I want to really dive into this one briefly, but 35% of the teacher score is based on 10 to 20 admin walkthrough evaluations.
10 to 20?
20, yeah. And I'll be honest, this plan is dead on arrival because there's no admin that has time for 20 walkthrough evaluations.
That's what I'm thinking.
There's not 20 walkthroughs. And the more you give them, the less time they're going to spend in the class. Then it's exceedingly subjective because they just walk in at the wrong moment. I've had that happen many times where that you've been teaching for a full 55 minutes and given the best lesson possible. And the last 3 minutes, the admin walks in and you just sat down to just regroup yourself, and they look at you and they're like, oh, you apparently aren't a good teacher. It's like, you missed the last 55 minutes where I was...
You walk in at the end of class. Yeah. What do you think I'm going to be doing at the end of class? Giving a speech? So, in conclusion, everyone.
Yeah. Now, here's the thing that I really despise about this plan. And I if I'm wrong, please tell me in the comments, because I said to myself, this can't be. They are grouping teachers on their final evaluation, and they're putting you into categories. But the categories have caps, and there's only a certain percentage of teachers that can be ruled as being outstanding or effective. There is a curve, but the curve is not a natural curve. Okay. It's a forced curve.
That's what I mean,
where they go, you are in the top 10%, but I have the same score as the other person in the top 10%. Sorry, that 10% is full. You're now an effective teacher. And that's, I think, opening it up to lawsuits.
That's completely unfair.
Yeah. So it literally said, here's the grouping, and here's how many teachers by percentage can fit into each grouping. And to me, you are putting the pressure on the principal to find things wrong.
Yep.
You might imagine a principal with a stellar group.
Yeah.
And you go, I got 50 teachers here that I would trust to be in any classroom. They are on it. They're all in attendance every day. They put on great shows in the class. They do fantastic work.
Yeah.
And then at the end of the day, the district goes, great. So who needs improvement? You can't go, well, nobody. They go, well, somebody has to need improvement because we got to put them in the bottom tier. We got to fill up the bottom, and we got to fill up the middle, and then we got to fill up the top. And then it becomes a popularity contest. Then it's like, well, I don't really talk to James Yon that much, or I'll put them in the needs improvement, but they don't need improvement.
No.
Yeah.
Then it becomes, who's brought me gifts?
Yes.
That's what it becomes.
Yes.
Who's brought me a Starbucks in the last week or so?
I just always thought evaluations are so ridiculous because it's your job to find something wrong.
You're not going in to say, here's all the good things.
Yeah, you're looking for problems and ways they can improve.
Yes.
But sometimes there aren't like transparent ways they can improve,
Yes.
and sometimes the principals invent the ways they can improve.
That gets tricky.
And it's like, but when you start grouping them in and teachers are grouped and evaluated and only 10% can be at the top, I think you're just really opening Pandora's box here, and you're going to have a lot of problems.
You are.
I completely disagree with the way they're doing it. I think if you have 90% of your teachers in the top 10%, great.
Good for you.
They have a fantastic score.
Yes.
That's not. But to tell them immediately, especially if you're going to do pay for performance, then my pay is impacted because I wasn't alphabetically the first person that was put into the.
That is funny.
You know, could you imagine?
Yes.
I mean, like it's
My last
just,
name's Jan. Okay.
I know.
Okay.
Yeah, you're done.
Yeah, I'm done. Yeah.
But it's just, I don't know. I look at it and I think it's got with 20 walkthroughs and grouping them. Come on. This is, to me, this is clearly a reflection on a state-run program because you don't have teachers that are deciding this.
No.
You have government that's going, sure, admin can walk through 20 times. It's like,
admin's like, what are you talking about?
yeah, I can't walk through 20 times.
20 times?
Yeah, but admin, I guarantee, is going, yeah, sure,
Yeah, sure.
I can do that because you're my boss and you pay me. And if I look like I'm resisting, there needs to be the next 4 years for teachers need to be the year. If we're doing away with the Department of Education, we need to have the year of resistance. We need to resist. Go, this doesn't work.
This is not right.
Teachers have to stand up and go, no.
No more.
No.
Yeah.
I'm not okay with this.
Yes.
So instead of just quitting,
Yeah. 'Cause we need good teachers. Let's be honest. We do. Please.
All right, James. That's teachers in the news. Let's hear from you.
Okay, man. Now, as a parent, I do something every so often. I go online and look up tips on how to be a better parent. Like, what's other parents talking about? So I'll see if I can change anything, see if I can improve.
Right.
But then,
so you go to my website?
I do, pretty much. Just go to your, I just presently go to your Instagram and do what you do. Yeah. Hence this beard.
Yes.
But here's something that I found. I went to a very dark place. I went on, I don't know if you heard of it. It's called Reddit.
Oh, yes.
It can be a dark place. But there is this Redditor by the name of Royal Blue Doobie Doo.
Blue Doobie Doo.
Doobie Doo. That's
it sounds like they give a lot of good advice.
Come on, with a name like that, they give great advice, or they have a hot 16. They're about to spit. But they were talking about the fact, and I don't know if you agree with this, Devin, that when they were growing up, their parents did a lot of things better than they now do as parents themselves.
Okay.
Do you find yourself saying that? Man, my mom was so much better at this than I was.
Sometimes, yes.
Do you? I find myself doing that a lot. And there's a couple of things that they mentioned. And I just want to bring it up as a parent to see if you guys go through it or if you guys are saying, no, I'm really good at that. I'm better than my parents were. Because we all think that. Like, my mom did not know what she was doing. Right. I'm much better at this. I'm going to be a much better listener. I'm never going to tell my kids because I said so. I'm going to make sure they eat all healthy food that's organic.
Right. I'm going to tag my children in my Instagram posts.
Yes. So here's some of the things that they said. My parents always managed to do this better than me. The first thing was, my mom seemed to have endless energy for taking kids on outings to fun places. And she did the same thing for me growing up. It may be because she had 2 kids while I have 4 kids, but we were lucky enough to go on family outings once a month due to logistics of it all. Now, luckily, we're all a bunch of homebodies nowadays. We don't go anywhere. Mm-hmm. We don't do anything, man. When we come home, I'm home because I work such long hours.
That's the key. That's the thing that I think, my mom was a great mom.
Yes.
The only thing is that she had to work.
Yes.
And I think that nowadays, there's so many parents out there that have to work.
They do.
And they have to work long hours.
Very long.
And a lot of the things that we're not doing with the children, it's not that we don't want to do them. I think it's that we don't have time to do them. And the stress of work and the demands that society is putting on us is keeping us from being a great parent. And another thing that I'm going to touch on, and I don't know if you even thought of this, but the energy thing. You said she always had the energy. I think the food is hurting us.
Oh, GMOs?
Yeah,
yes.
Because honestly, like, I'll sometimes eat like a heavy carb, fat meal, and I feel lethargic. I feel like, oh my gosh, I don't want to do anything. And you look at the menus of like the 50s and 60s and 70s, and a lot of it was just whole foods. It was like, oh, chicken and peas.
Yes.
Or, and then, well, I'll eat like a whole food meal and I will feel so much more energy.
Yeah.
I feel like it's not holding me down.
No,
but I
not
feel
at
like
all.
today with all the super processed and the fast food, and I mean, growing up, I don't know about you, but we rarely went out to eat or had fast food.
My mom cooked.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely.
And when you cooked, it was always a healthier option and you felt better, more energy.
Absolutely.
I think that the food hurts us in terms of the energy.
And I think you touched on it also in the very beginning when you said the time thing. Because back when my mom was raising us, jobs had actual schedules they kept.
Yeah.
Meaning the work day was not more than 8 hours ever. It was always, hey, you work and it's 8 hours. So the parents would come home. Now a normal work day is 10 to 12.
Yeah, and also, I mean, it just happened to me two nights ago. I was sitting at the dinner table with my kids, and we're eating, we're talking, and all of a sudden, boom, and I was like, man, I got to send this email. And I got an email, and they were wanting a contract revision, and I was like, they're like, we got to have the contract revision by 6 p.m., and it's 5:30, and I'm like, I'm sorry, I got to step away.
Yes.
And I went to the office and I did up the contract revision, came out, everybody's done eating, and I'm like, ugh.
Yeah.
It's well, I just missed dinner with the family, So that kind of stuff, having access to us outside of class, I think is...
I totally agree. Here's one that I saw my wife do very well, but my mom was better at it. My mom had so much patience for imaginary play when I was young. I have such a hard time forcing myself to play that way with my kids. Like, we used to play with our children. Growing up, that's what you saw. Like, moms would play games with their kids and do stuff like that. I guess now, just because time restraints, as we said earlier, who has the time? I can't imagine imaginary friends with you when I can't even imagine being able to sit down.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Plus, I think our attention spans kind of dwindled.
That's gone now. Kids don't have that.
Yeah, but adults too. I mean, to sit down and have an imaginary tea party and wait for your kid to go over and you're literally sitting on your phone going, I'm gonna watch something else. And
it's true.
I don't know. I think we get easily distracted by social media and by outside things.
Give them an iPad.
Yeah, and back then it was like, if I'm not doing imaginary tea with my child, what else am I doing? I'm there,
I did play imaginary restaurant with my kids. Like they were serving.
We
me.
do dance parties.
Nice.
We are hot into dance parties. We got my kid a DJ thing for Christmas,
and
he's been mixing his own beats, and we do dance parties. If we don't have him on the DJ thing, we have Michael Jackson on the TV, and we go through the Michael Jackson YouTube, and and we do dance parties, man. So, and we have tickets. You gotta have a ticket to get into the dance party.
Hey, I don't want to break any rules.
Yeah,
that's right, man. Hey.
It's fun though. It's a good time. So
Devin's on the site scalping tickets. Hey, man. Hey, y'all trying to get in a dance party?
I keep my dog out. I'm like, not you.
Not you. One in the back. You can come in. I was going to say, when I did my imaginary restaurant with my kids, they would be serving me and whatnot. I would turn full Karen. I would leave them bad Yelp reviews.
This is cold. This is cold.
My imaginary steak, not cooked to medium.
Apparently, the easy bake wasn't as easy as we thought, because this is terrible.
I'm never coming back here again. Going on Yelp.
You put the Dreadful in Dr. Dreadful's drink lab. This is...
Dr. Dreadful. Oh, okay. Here's a good one. My parents, they're saying, had a better social life than I do as a parent.
100%.
I remember my parents having cookouts when I was very young with neighbors. Some families, they'd meet up and the siblings, and they'd have block parties and whatnot. The local town I was in would always do things like that, they would say. I remember my mom having parties. I remember my mom going out. And remember, they would give you the rules before they went out. All right, don't open the door. Don't answer the phone, blah, blah, blah. I'll be back at this time.
Yeah.
We did not have a social life at all when my kids were young.
No.
We literally, when we got pregnant, we stayed in the house for 18 years.
Like how you say when we got pregnant.
Well, it's we, Devin. When my wife got pregnant with our kids, literally, it felt like we were home until they were not in the house anymore. It felt like that because you just stayed home with your children and you didn't just leave them in a house by themselves.
I think as a society, social media has afforded me more friendships than I ever would have had.
Got it.
But less relationships than I ever could have had.
Got
Does
it.
that make sense?
Yes, it does.
In
Yes.
terms, I know people.
Yes.
And I'm aware of people, and I'll chat with people online. I'll fist bump you in public. We'll hang out, but we don't connect as well. I think our parents had deep relationships. They had, companionships. They had people that they were there for and constantly cared about. And I just don't think we have that as much anymore.
We're going out with the Andersons. We're going out with the Jones.
Yes.
It was a social network.
Yep.
Honestly.
But because there was no other,
There's no
you
other.
talk to your neighbors, and it's like, because who else am I going to talk to? Nobody.
Neighbors used to stop by, and it was a treat.
Uh-huh.
Now, if someone knocks on your door, you're like, who the hell is that?
Turn out the lights. We're
down,
not here.
Down. It's the code blue, people. It's not drill. Absolutely. This is my last one, and my mom definitely did this. My mom always volunteered at my school, whether it's reading, baking, chaperoning, or school excursions. I wish I was as involved as my mom. No, I think we did a great job with this as much as we could. We were definitely involved in the band part with my children. But I remember moms would always volunteer to be aides and stuff like that in classrooms when I was younger. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if that's even a thing anymore.
Yeah, it is a thing. It's not as prevalent as it used to
Okay.
be. But again, it's just the demands of work. Mom used to stop in and
Yes!
have lunch with their kid because they had an hour lunch break.
Mm-hmm.
We don't get, nobody gets hour lunch breaks anymore.
Not anymore, no.
And if you do, you're not allowed to leave.
No, you can't leave. You don't have time. You can't make it out.
It's just society has really taken away our ability to parent. And teachers complain all the time, these parents stink. I don't put it solely on the parent. I think that the situation stinks, and we're creating bad parents because they're just not able to have enough time.
No.
And, I volunteer at school, and I do, fun stuff.
You
with
understand
the
how
kids.
important that is.
Yeah, but also I want to bring up something. You just really gave me a great segue into something that's been bothering me, and I don't know why I haven't talked about it yet. In the state of Florida, we have made a change to our volunteering.
Oh.
Yeah, we have made a change to our volunteering. So normally, if you wanted to volunteer at your kid's school, you know what you had to do?
What?
You had to just fill out a simple paper online.
Yeah.
And then just get approved. It would take about a day. They would just do a basic background check.
Yes.
You are not a felon.
No.
You're not don't have any child, stuff on your record. You are able to be in a school, and your kid goes there.
Mm-hmm.
Good. You're done.
Yeah.
You can volunteer. Come in and volunteer, sign in, do all this other good stuff.
Sounds simple enough.
In the state of Florida, we changed it to where you have to have a level 2 background check starting later this year. A level 2 background check requires fingerprinting, requires an actual interview and full on, like you're applying for a job with a security clearance.
I was going to say, I had to have that when I worked at the private school. I went through all that. Yeah.
So it's like you have to go through the same background check as a teacher would with the fingerprinting and everything, but you have to pay the $95 to go get fingerprinted and go in. Do you think, James, we're going to have the same number of volunteers as before?
No.
Exactly.
No, you're not.
We will not. We actually ran into that problem at my kids' school during the Christmas store. There were parents that signed up. They signed up to volunteer, and they said, I'm going to volunteer at the Christmas store. Well, we had to call them and go, hey, you signed up to volunteer, but we don't see you in the volunteer program. You have to, and they're like, what's that? And you go, just go online, fill out a quick form, and get approved. And they're like, okay, all right. So they would go online, fill out the form, get approved the next day. They can volunteer. Do you think we'll have that same turnaround if people go, yeah, I'd love to volunteer at the Christmas store? Great. So you have to spend $95 of your money to go get fingerprinted. Set an appointment. That appointment might be outside of your regular work hours to go in and get fingerprinted. And then we have to wait 3 weeks for the background check to come in, and then you can run the child's store.
No.
Or do a field trip chaperones.
Which is always hard getting chaperones for those things.
Yeah.
Now you're making it harder. Now you're costing us more money. And I just don't know how a parent could do it. Like that's steep.
Yeah.
That's steep, man.
And what bothers me is literally you go online. This is the stuff that I just think way too deeply of. Because I go, why are we doing this? Is it truly to protect the children? Show me on paper what triggered this, what volunteer that was in school and approved under the regular background check overstepped their boundaries, and it would have been prevented if there had been a level 2. Show me that this is a recurring thing where we're having the problem.
Not a one-time thing, but a recurring thing.
Now, here's the thing: is you can't.
No.
But you can show me the company that runs the background checks has a forecast for increased revenue over the next 2 years, that they put out a full bulletin to their shareholders that due to security protocols being implemented in Florida and across the United States, they're looking at a lot more money being brought in. And shareholders should be excited because they're going to make a lot more money on the volunteers that are just trying to work the Christmas store at your kid's elementary school. That's who we want to get the money from.
So you're telling me if I want to run the Christmas store, I have to not have Christmas?
Because I know. One of your child's gifts must be exchanged.
Do I get to pick the child?
Yeah. But, I mean, you sit there and, I went deep into this and I Googled the companies, and you see they're a company that's been contracted by this. And, you know what's wild is you go online and you go, oh, I'm trying to get a level 2 background clearance, and the state of Florida tells you which company they suggest you go through.
Oh.
There's options to get fingerprints, but they really want this one to be. And you sit there and you go, okay, so this is another Rick Scott Medicare fraud that this is another.
That sounds a little illegal.
We're seeing so much of this where they steer government funds or make the public pay for this. Mm-hmm. And you go, well, what's the cause? And they go, no, we just want more money. And the funny thing is the company, their revenue was down for 2 years. And I guarantee they went to the state of Florida and said, hey, we're really struggling. Can you think of something? Can we maybe partner on this? It'll look really good on you guys if you do that. And then it's like,
here we are.
Oh, by the way, campaign contribution. It's like,
for me.
I fear we're just being sold out across the. Anyways, this is my political rant. Sorry, I get tired of seeing schools be the brunt of this. We literally are the least funded, the least taken care of, and yet the most taken advantage of.
Yes, you are.
It's just gets frustrating.
Anyways,
Siebold. 2028. That's what I was trying to get
I'm voting for you, buddy.
Thank you. Appreciate it. All right. James, how can people find you online, my friend?
As always, you guys can reach out to me on James Yon Comedian on Facebook, Instagram, and also TikTok, because we are officially bike.
Yes. Teachersneedlaughter.com. Also, patreon.com/cryinginmycar if you'd like to submit to my campaign contribution. And hopefully we'll find you online while you share our stuff. I like to comment and reply and stay engaged with you guys. Yeah. And we'll be back next week with a brand new episode of Crying in My Car, a podcast for teachers.